Well, after a hunt that I thought would never end, and it still really kind of hasn't, tracking down genealogy records that just don't exist, and speaking directly with the Native American tribe who at one point may have held one of my ancestors hostage, I think I'm just ready to record this thing and get it over with. So, once upon a time, I was a missionary, and I was in an area where I needed to learn Spanish. In the early days, I would brag about being part Mexican. Do I look part Mexican? No, not in the slightest. But at some point in my life, I think I glanced at this person in my family tree, read the name Chavez, and thought, oh, sick, that dude's Mexican. And then, from then on, I thanked my abuelo Chavez for giving me his Hispanic genes so I could learn Spanish. This is going to shock you, but turns out we don't know for sure if Willie Chavez was really Mexican. He was born in Los Cerritos, Colorado, almost 2 decades after it had become a state.
Oh, look at that. That's freaking adorable. They named it after these tiny hills. Okay, so maybe Willie wasn't born in Mexico, technically. But, let's look at his father. Maybe he's... Oh my gosh, it's Salvador Chavez. I'm Mexican, everybody. The mystery is solved. Salvador Chavez was definitely born in New Mexico while it was still Mexico. Sadly, it is not that simple. Just 9 years before Salvador's birth, Mexico gained its independence, and the Santa Fe Trail was born. It became a major trading route between Missouri and Santa Fe and all of the new opportunities that were in the New Mexican lands. So, he could have just as likely been the child of some English traders who were making their way through at that time.
But his last name was Chavez. You don't get much more Spanish than that, hombre. So there's an issue with that. Let's move back a couple generations. Chavez was not Grandpa Juan's original family name. It was given to him by Native Americans. Oh, so Willie Chavez was Native American then. Okay, that's cool. Wrong again! We don't actually know who Juan's parents were, because when Juan was only 7 years old, a band of hostile Native Americans from the Kiowa tribe killed his entire family. He was then sold to someone in the Zuni tribe in Luna, a New Mexico town near the Arizona border. It was the Zuni tribe members who raised him and gave him the new name Chavez. I really tried to do some digging on this, but we just don't have any records of his time living with the Zuni people. Like, my family doesn't have anything, except this excerpt from a history book on 1800s Mormon settlers in Arizona. I even checked with the Zuni people, too. They still exist today. They have a public library in New Mexico and a website and everything. The only problem? It is really hard to get Native American records from any time before 1893. See this excerpt from the National Indian Child Welfare Association for further explanation. So, Juan Chavez remains largely a mystery today. The specifics of how or when he left the Kiowa tribe are unclear. What we do know is Juan had a son. That son's name was Salvador. Salvador was a wagoneer, and he made lots of trips. And on one of his travels, he met and married a young widow named Amanda Abigail Pierce Clark, who was a member of the church. She was one of the pioneers who was traveling west. So Salvador joined the church because of her, and pioneered and homesteaded land in the Los Cerritos area. They both raised 10 children, including 2 sets of twins. It's hard to wrap your mind around what it takes to preserve a bloodline. Imagine Juan on the day that his parents and siblings died. What a tragedy that all of those lives were lost. But at the same time, there's no way that Juan could have even comprehended how many more people would live because he survived. This is why I love family history, seeing how close to death my entire bloodline was.